Hey there, Machine Pun Kelly here, and I just today wanted to talk a little bit about sprouting. Back when I first started, I wanted to spend a little more time on talking about just eating healthy. I've kind of been just going through this life change myself, and figuring out how to eat healthy since I got long COVID, and eat healthy in a way that's cost efficient and energy efficient, to where I'm not spending a bunch of money or time or energy. And I found that sprouting is really a great way to get a lot of energy and without putting in a lot of work. So I just wanted to walk through some of the things I've been doing. But first, just so you know, there are like basically four classifications of sprouts, four types of sprouts. There's your grains like wheatgrass, or sprouted wheat. There's barley, things like that. Anything that's a grain. You can even sprout stuff like rice. I don't know if you can sprout white rice, but I know you can sprout brown rice. Um, uh, the second kind is bean sprouts. Like you can do mung bean sprouts. A lot of people know about that, but you can also do things like just sprout red beans and kidney beans and pinto beans and black beans. And you don't have to like wait until they become full-grown sprouts. They're just little baby sprouts, and you put them in your chili, and it makes it a lot easier to digest, makes you fart a lot less, and it has like much more nutritional value to it. Then there are vegetable sprouts, like your standard alfalfa sprouts, or broccoli sprouts, and the ones they get the most attention. And those are great for salads and wraps and soups and whatnot. And then finally, you have like your seeds and nuts. So I'm going to just go through some different methods that people use. My wife went through this big, huge thing a few years ago where she bought all this stuff and we never used it, but I was kind of like looking at it and thought, hey, we already paid for this stuff, we might as well use it. So I'm going to go through some of the things that we have to, show you some just different methods. And I will say I spend about 5 to 10 minutes a day working on this. It's going to seem like a lot of work, maybe 15 minutes, depending, if there's something important, like a major step to do. But this is very, very energy efficient, and I'll talk to you about the cost as I'm doing it as well. So let's flip you around if I can figure out how. I do not use my phone to record stuff. So all right, so let's talk about some of these things. First of all, this is my wheatgrass. And all I did for this was I soaked the beans for 24 hours, or the wheat berries for 24 hours. And then I put them in this tray with this coconut husk stuff. And the first few days, you cover it with a paper towel and you spray it. And then after the wheat grass starts to grow to where it's lifting the towel up off the thing, then you pull it off. And you just spritz it with water. I've got this little spritzer right here, and that's how much work it takes to take care of that. And that will be ready. It's about half the length it needs to be before I start harvesting it. And you can get 2 or 3 harvests out of this grass. You clip it with scissors, and then you can throw it in your blender. Or if you have a cold pressed juicer, you can put it in there and get like your super expensive wheatgrass stuff. And like this tray, the total cost of this tray is like maybe 50 cents for everything, like including the dirt, the grass, or the seeds and everything. And if you were to just get one shot of this at your juice store, it'd be like one of your children. The second thing, this is right here. These are jars that people use. And what they do is they have these like little screen tops on them. And they're just traditional ball jars. And you can get these tops on Amazon. And the first day you use them, you just fill them with water and you just leave them soaking. And then after that, once a day, you rinse them off. And I'll just show you what that means. I have a little green bucket right here. And then I have this water. And I just fill it with water. Or not even fill it, just put some water in it. And then I swish it around a little bit. I usually have two hands. And then I have a bucket down here, as you can see, and I just pour that water into the bucket. And bada bing, bada boom. It's done. So these are my bean sprouts, my mung bean sprouts, and you can see, I hope. I'm sorry, I'm terrible at camera work, but I think you might be able to see some of those little white strings coming out. That means they're starting to sprout. So woohoo! I'll just put that cap on top later. But then you get these stands, so that, like, as you can see right here, they're at an angle, and then you can put, you know, like you can get these little plates and stuff that you put the stand on, and then like the water that's left in there will just drain out on there, and then you can put the bottle on here, the jar on there, so that it holds it at an angle. So I've got some wheat berries here. These right here are not going to be wheatgrass. This is a blend of wheat berries that I have that I'm sprouting, and I'm going to turn this into a loaf of bread. Because one thing you can do is, once they sprout, you can dry them in your food dehydrator or in the oven, and then you can use those, you can mill those if you have a way to mill it, and then you can turn it into bread. Of course, if you don't have, I think, you know, there's different grain mills you can get. If you have a KitchenAid, you can get an attachment that's like $70. I have a Nutri-Mill, but if you can afford it, I would highly advise buying some kind of grain mill and grinding your own wheat. It's nowhere near as much work as you think. It's like, you know, like 10 minutes to make a loaf, well, maybe 20 minutes to make a loaf of bread, of actual work, you know, not counting the oven time and the rising time and stuff like that. It's not a lot of work if you just have a few decent appliances. Okay, so that's the first kind. That's the cheapest way, is just get some jars. And if you don't want to buy one of the lids, you can just use a paper towel and a rubber band. I mean, or a kitchen towel and a rubber band. All you need is something to keep the seeds in and the water to go out. And then like this one, I don't have a special plate. This is just a saucer from my cup and saucer set. So you don't need fancy tools for this. All you need is a jar. You can even just save an old Smucker's jar or whatever. You don't need to buy anything at all. The second thing you can use is, you can get these kind of stackable sprouting kits online. And like, this is these are pretty much ready to harvest today. I just need to put them out in the sunlight and let them turn green. But these are Fenugreek, or however you say that, but these are actually, they taste really amazing. I wish you could taste stuff online. And then I've got some radish seeds right here, and then these are my sunflower seeds, which they're just starting to sprout. They take a little longer, that's why they're on the bottom. My radish seeds will be ready to go tomorrow. My radish sprouts will be ready to go tomorrow. Those are like kind of peppery. I'd say they're like on the level of black pepper. They have a little bite to them. If you're thinking of sprouts as alfalfa sprouts or salad sprouts, they can actually get a little zingy, and these are actually really tasty. I'm gonna make some cream of tomato soup with those tomorrow. And then today, these are, I think they're commonly used in Indian food, but they're actually incredibly tasty. they are similar in some ways to bean sprouts. So I'm going to make up some ramen today and throw those in there. And then, so as I was saying, there's the 4 different kinds of sprouts. There's the grain, the vegetable, the seeds and nuts, and then the beans. So I've got all 4 types growing. And if each one, like a lot of them, they'll have some of the same vitamins and stuff, but some of them will have a few different things. If you have all 4 going, there are 13 essential micronutrients, which includes all your, like vitamin A and vitamin B and like the different vitamin Bs and vitamin D. And if you have a combination of all 4 nutrients, or all 4 sprouts, you actually have all 13 micronutrients covered. They're extremely healthy because this is like the seed has all this stuff in it that's meant for the plant to grow, and it's meant to nourish that plant, and it all gets released when it's sprouted. And so then all that nutrient is in the sprouts. So they're one of the healthiest things you can eat. They're also really high in fiber. The beans are the highest in carbs, but they're also the highest in fiber. But in net carbs, like a cup of bean sprouts will have like 1.2 net carbs. Or at least mung bean sprouts. I think like the pinto beans and the kidney beans are going to be a little bit higher. They're not keto friendly, but they're still going to have like that nutritional punch. So I didn't even realize this until this morning. I was doing some research. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to get some different kidney beans and pinto beans and stuff and sprout those, and I'm going to make some chili with it and see how that goes. But it sounds pretty yummy to me. All right, so then the next thing I want to show you is okay, we'll go to this one first. This is a friend of ours that was really into sprouting, had this thing, and it's called something or other. Like 2000 something. I'll put in a link for the newest one. The newest one is a 3000. But it's like a sprouting machine, and I'll show you right here. It's got this little sprayer thing, and it doesn't go 24 hours. It just monitors the humidity in here, and then it just sprays automatically when it needs to be sprayed. So basically with this one, all you have to do is put in the seeds and change. This is a water chamber, and you change that once a day, and that's all you have to do. And then eventually this happens. I have them out right now because the last day, these are almost ready to harvest. This is a bunch of salad greens or salad sprouts, and you just need to wait for those to turn green. This will be 2.5 pounds of sprouts, which if you were to go to the grocery store and buy these, like a 4-ounce little tiny package is going to cost you $4. So this is like $35 worth of sprouts here that that we spent like 20 cents worth of seeds on. I mean, it's and almost no work on. Like, all I do is change this water once a day. That's all the work that goes into this, and you get all of this. So like this is what, and this is so energy efficient, so nutritious. This is like just packs nutrition in it. Like I can feel the difference since I started eating sprouts, but that's subjective. The next thing I want to show you, these are these trays you can get. If this is too much work for you, there's even an easier way. My wife was also getting these, and they send you these. You get these trays, And then there's a fill line for the water. I just started these a couple of days ago, so there's nothing happening there yet. But you get these pads. And all you do is you hold it down for 10, you fill the water to the line, you hold it down for 10 seconds, and then you don't have to worry about anything. And 2 weeks later, you harvest it. And these are actually microgreens, not sprouts. And the difference between microgreens and sprouts is microgreens use soil and you wait a little longer. So, like technically, I think wheatgrass would probably be a microgreen, not a sprout. These are sprouts because these are only using water and you're harvesting the whole thing. And the last thing I want to bring out, this is not technically a sprout, but I just started doing this. You can make your own kefir out of milk. And all you have to do is get some kefir seeds. And you put in this is a quart. So I just have 2 tablespoons of kefir seeds in there. And you put 2 tablespoons of kefir seeds, and then you fill it with milk. You want to use some kind of gas permeable top if you can. I've heard that you don't need to, that people have made it without it, but I just used one of my little screen tops because the fermentation process does build up some gas. But this makes your own kefir. It has more than twice as many of the probiotics as you get in the kefir that you buy at the store. And you can flavor it yourself. You can put in honey or whatever. This is my first batch, so I didn't mess around with it too much. But anyway, the last thing I want to say about all this is you've got not just your nutritional benefits, but there's also your gut health benefits to all of this. With the sprouts, you get not only probiotic, or you get your prebiotics, get a lot of prebiotics with sprouts, and some probiotics with the kefir. You get your probiotics, and then with both, I think you get what are called postbiotics, which help you, which are what are produced from the probiotics. Anyway, what all of that means is it's not just you're getting the bacteria in your gut that you get with like those supplements that you buy that are really expensive. You get like the things that help you absorb them and the things that help you keep them once they're there. So these are all really, really good for gut health. The other thing is with the vitamins and stuff, this has, like I was saying, this will cover all your vitamins. And you've got your 1-a-day vitamins and stuff like that, and people go out and they spend $60, $70 a month on their 1-a-day vitamins, or these, vegetable, mixes or whatever. This includes all of this stuff that you get in that, but you're getting it from a food rather than a process. And so your body absorbs, there's studies that show that your body absorbs those vitamins much better when it comes from food. And just the last thing I want to say is I have found, and I have, theorized, and I believe there's some basis to this, that food, when it comes to dieting and stuff, my theory is don't worry about what you don't eat, just worry about what you do eat. And by that I mean just if you eat enough healthy stuff, and you eat some healthy stuff, and you want to have some potato chips, go ahead and have some potato chips. You're not going to have a good diet by trying to eliminate potato chips. Where you're going to have a good diet is by eating healthy stuff. And if you eat enough healthy stuff, especially these, because they're so high in fiber, sprouts are so high in fiber, that you actually take longer to digest, you feel full longer, so you eat less food, you get less munchies, and and with super processed food, you actually, surprisingly, you digest it faster, so you would think that would mean that it would be better, but it's not, because it digests faster, but you still get the same number of calories, but you don't have the feeling of fullness as long, so you eat more. But if you cut out the process, if the less, the more real food you eat, the less super processed food you eat, because you're just not as hungry. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I hope I didn't babble too much, and I hope you learned some. Oh, I should tell you some pricing on this. The jars are basically free if you have any jars in your house. These lids are, a couple of dollars maybe. Same thing with the stands. I think I got a set of 12 for like $18, so they're like $1.50 a piece. This stack right here, there's actually a fourth tray that's sitting on the windowsill greening right now, but there's this was $38, and you can get the cheaper ones that are plastic, but I've been trying to stay away from plastic as much as possible. This is plastic, but like I said, it was given to us, and this is like $150. I have no idea what this stuff costs, because my wife just had a subscription to it and forgot to use it or whatever. But anyway, getting used now. So hope I helped, and hope you can try sprouting. I found it fun, kind of a nice little hobby that doesn't take a lot of work and has a lot of benefits.